discussing the passage of bills, and that will be it. We'll be done with the state executive and legislature. And then today we'll discuss the panchayats, the local self-government, right? That's it. Before that, let's begin our discussion on the very, very important questions. For read the easy question. It was first set up in 1921. Absolutely correct. Under the provisions of Government of India Act. Absolutely correct. This statement is correct. It has currently 22 members. Yes, of course. All from Lok Sabha is wrong because it has 15 from Lok Sabha, 7 from Rajya Sabha. Its members are chosen according to the principle of proportional representation. Every party gets some kind of representation in the PAC. It's mentioned on your slides. And the chairman of the committee is invariably from the opposition. So he always comes from the opposition party since 1967. So this is also correct. 3 statements are right. Only 3 is the right answer. I hope everybody. So third question, this is correct. Other statements are wrong. So B is the right answer. Third question, please follow carefully. Question. Constitutionally. Do you remember this question was asked earlier as well by me only? That constitutionally. So as per the constitution, the vice president should be qualified for election as a member of which house? Please tell me. Which house? Rajya Sabha. Yes or no? This means constitutionally this person may not be eligible, but yes, in practice. So anyway, for the president, yes. And for governor, this is not required only. What is required is age and citizenship, whether you are qualified for election as Lok Sabha member or Rajya Sabha member. That is of no concern. So, of course, governor, but not this person. So, A, 1 and 2 only, right? Moving on to the fourth question for today. I'll give you a minute, read properly, mark the answer. So this is something we saw yesterday only in the slide for the ordinance. All 3 are correct. Okay. So this, and this, all 3 are conditions with respect to where the president's approval is required. If an act of the state legislature containing the same provisions would have been invalid, this is the Article 254 type situation, the anti-need thing, right? If he would have deemed it necessary to reserve a bill, this is the referential veto concept. And this is where the financial emergency example. So these were actually mentioned in the slides. So the point is, if you had revised the yesterday's slides, then only. Otherwise, how will you answer this question without revision? So D is right. All the statements are correct. And last question for the day. Have to, you become the CM or the PM, and then you can prove the majority. I think I explained this example under trust vote when I explained that Atal Bihari Vajpayee was made the prime minister and then he was asked, prove a majority. Within 13 days, he could not prove the majority and he resigned. Do you remember that example that I wrote also on the slides? So, nothing is mentioned in the constitution. Why will the constitution mention all these things? Okay, so one is wrong. Second one is, of course, Nayak article that we say a person who is not a member of the state legislature cannot be appointed as chief minister. Of course, they can, right? But the concept is he should become the member of the house. Both are wrong. D, neither one nor two. Clear? That's it. Let's move on now to the topic at hand, that is a passage of bills. Before that, let me show you the leaderboard. Pranav Mishra, Mansi Tyagi, Ruchita, state legislature. Ordinary bills. Now, when it comes to ordinary bills, first things first. Two cases. Case 1, where the bill originates in the legislative assembly. The bill is introduced in the assembly. See, same three stages are there. First stage, second stage, third stage. It's the same. That is called the first reading, second reading, or the third reading. Now, when the bill is introduced in the assembly, what happens is that the assembly will, of course, pass the bill. It goes to the council. See, council can always pass the bill. That's a given. Let's take other things into consideration. If passed, all is well, right? Now, what can be three situations where there could be a problem? Let's focus on those three elements. Number 1, rejects the bill. Number 2, makes changes. Number 3, takes no action. Takes no action for 3 months. In all these cases, if the legislative assembly passes the bill again, then what happens? Again, the same drama. If the council rejects, if the council again tries to take no action or does not accept the changes, it does not really matter. Rejects or does not accept the changes, or again takes no action, then for a month, if it takes no action for a month, what happens? In all these cases, the bill is passed automatically. Bill passed automatically. Always remember, in the same form that assembly wants it. Clear? So even if the changes are made, right, assembly rejects all the changes and passes the bill again, it does not really matter for the council. Council's changes may not be accepted. Are we clear on this, everybody? The entire summary of this is that the council can only cause a delay, maximum possible delay. Tell me, what can be the maximum delay that LC can cause? Tell me, how many months? 3 months here, again 1 month here. That's the maximum. 3M plus 1M, 4 months of delay. Nothing beyond that can be done actually. So in short, just remember one thing. When the council, when the assembly passes the bill, whatever happens, ultimately the bill is passed in the same form that the assembly wants to get it passed. There is no concept of joint sitting and all. If the council is very unhappy, so what? Sit and cry. We don't care. Okay? So no concept of joint sitting. I hope this point is clear. Now the other case can be, you can say, but sir, what about case 2? Case 2. Bill originates in the council. What if the bill starts in the council? Okay. Now, in this case, what happens? LC, that is the council, will pass the bill. It goes to the assembly. Now, if the assembly rejects, bill ends. If the assembly makes changes, right, or passes the bill, or pass with modification, what happens? In both these cases, bill passed in the same manner as the assembly wants. Clear? So here also the council can pass a bill. Of course, a bill can be introduced in the council, but don't ever think that if there's some kind of conflict, the council will prevail. No, council can never prevail. That is not possible only. Okay? If assembly rejects the bill, takes no action, the bill is pending. The council cannot force the assembly to do anything. Are we clear? Afreen, if assembly takes no action, the bill is pending forever till the assembly takes an action. If it does not take an action when the assembly's tenure is over, the bill lapses. End of story. Clear? Everyone? So this shows that This shows that council's modifications, council suggestions are only suggestions. The assembly may accept it, may not accept it. Clear? Which council? Money bills, there is no difference. In case of money bills, council, this is similar to that of the Rajya Sabha. So, can only delay for how many months? Not even a month, 14 days. Okay, this is similar to Rajya Sabha in the parliament. Okay, so this is yes, Rakesh, of course you can call them upper house and lower house. Yes, Pranav, the council's term is 6 years. These members keep on changing every 2 years. That's it. Yes, yes, Bhuvnesh, when the LA sends a bill back to the council may not pass it. It does not matter. Even if read the statements here, don't create own conclusions. It may take no action also, right? Then legislative council can take no action also. It does not really matter. The bill is passed automatically. Swarufuddin, there is no such issue there. The issue is separate, which has got no relationship to the constitutional provision, which I am explaining here. Okay, okay. Don't be angry, Anuj. Why is council there? Why is council there? We'll discuss that. Aanchal, how Rajya Sabha is involved? Where is Rajya Sabha involved? I just gave that similar to Rajya Sabha. The similarity is drawn here. Hey, come on, be serious. Don't ask all these things. Sometimes I feel you're just taking me for a ride by asking these questions. I can't trust this stupidity. LC send bill to LA. What is the time period? There is no time period. Guys, cut the long story short. End every discussion. Hear me out. Hear me out. When a bill is brought in the assembly, ordinary bill, or the council, it does not really matter what is a concern or fight between the houses. The bill will always be passed in the exact same form that the assembly wants to get it passed. If the assembly says no, the bill is not passed. If the assembly says yes, the bill is passed in the same form that the assembly wants to. Council can keep on crying, it can do nothing. The only thing the council can do is cause a delay, hold the bill for maximum 4 months. That's it. Done. Are we clear on this? Everyone, don't confirm from me. Pooja, please, it's mentioned here. Bill passed automatically. If everybody starts asking, bill passed automatically, Pakka sir, yes, why will I write something wrong here? Please don't confirm statements. It's mentioned here. Are we clear on this? Everybody. Money bills, there's nothing unique. I think everybody knows for money bills, there's a standard provision. For money bills, when Rajya Sabha has no power, right? Money bills can be introduced only in the assembly. Money bills are introduced with the prior consent of the governor. Money bills are brought only by ministers. These things are same. But for ordinary bills, at least Rajya Sabha had the provision of a joint sitting. Here, there is no scope. Okay. Now, one last thing. What about constitutional amendment bills. So in case of such bills, what happens? Such bills can be brought in either house or only in the assembly. Tell me. Let's take a poll. Constitutional amendment bills. On such bills can be brought in the legislative assembly only. A for yes, B for no. Oh, cancel this poll. It's too. 10 seconds only. A for yes, B for no. Such bills can be brought in the assemblies only. A for yes, B for no. Grand salute to all those who marked A as the answer. Amazing. The revision that is going on. Hats off to you. How? Still some people are writing. So for all those who are trying to say that it can be brought in either house, the state legislatures cannot bring a constitutional amendment bill. My dear innocent aspirants, life is very tough outside. This innocence will not work. Please revise. It was mentioned when we were discussing Article 368. The very first line. Such bills can be brought in either house of the parliament. And I made a statement only at the central level. Sirs and ma'ams, how will we ever clear the examination with this kind of revision? Anyway, so again I'll repeat that states cannot initiate any kind of proposal to modify the constitution. They can only wait, and if at any point of time the center tries to modify the federal structure, then such proposals are sent to states seeking their approval. That's it. Okay. So I hope some of you would agree on this, that that's the true situation in case of our councils. Only center has the power. Ashay, are you still confirming, Ashay? Sir, please revise, sir. This is not funny anymore now. It is shameful on the part that after half the classes are over, we are yet confirming on these points only. How will we ever clear the examination with this? These are basic facts. Revise, guys. Somebody has to play the bad cop here. Please revise. This is not how this exam will be cleared. Trust me on this. If you want to clear the exam in 2030, so be it. These are basic facts. Every day you amaze me with your answers. Yesterday, schedule 3. Today, this. What to do, sir? Anyway, moving on. Now, see, some of you had been asking constantly that does council have some special power like Rajya Sabha? Sorry to disappoint you. There is no such special power that only the council has. Nothing. Zero. There is no special power the council has. In fact, the situation right now is that we are trying to find out those areas where they have equal powers. Forget special powers, equal powers. For example, introducing a bill. Okay. Introduction of the bill takes place in either house, and passage of ordinary bills, right? It's the same majority, which is what? Simple majority. one simple question again. When it comes to the passage of bills, is there any bill which is passed by a special majority in the assembly? Tell me, is there any proposal which is passed by a special majority in the assembly? Special majority in the assembly. Some of you are right. What are you guys writing? In the assembly, legislative assembly. Okay, before you further disappoint yourself and me, it is the creation or abolition of legislative councils. Article 169. Okay, this is the situation where a special majority is required in the assembly. Otherwise, there is no other case. We'll see a case which is specific to states like Nagaland shortly, hopefully today only. But as of now, only this case. Now, tell me, when you are creating or abolishing a council, what kind of majority is required in the legislative council? Tell me, to create or abolish a council, what kind of majority is required in the council? Sirs and ma'ams, what are you saying? To create or abolish a council, why will we ask the council? Such bills are only limited to assembly. What are you writing? Special majority, effective majority, simple majority. To create or abolish a council, the proposal is only in the assembly, right? And then it is sent to the parliament. Why will the council be asked? Should we abolish you? And to create a council, how can you get the bill in the council? There is no council only. Still somebody is writing more than 50%. Arey sir, please. Okay. Anyway, I hope now you have understood council has no role to play in creating itself or abolishing itself. Okay. Approval of ordinances. So ordinances are basically tabled in both the houses. Are we clear? So take the example of say a state like Bihar. In Bihar, if either assembly or council is not in session, an ordinance can be brought. Or take the example of say Haryana. In Haryana, if the assembly is not there, ordinance can be brought, right? And when the ordinance is tabled in the house, they have to be tabled in both the house. Okay. Now, Acha, one more thing. Somebody was asking me about the chairperson of council. So just let me clarify. The chairperson of legislative council is not the governor. Please, not the governor. The chairperson here is somebody who is elected just like speaker from amongst the members. Elected by and from amongst MLCs. Are you clear? Okay. Now, selection of ministers, that's a point of equality. Ministers can come from either house. I mean, we have seen a situation even right now. Can you name a minister, a chief minister who comes from council? No, sir. Why Mamta? Mamta Banerjee's state does not even have a council. Don't write Mamta Banerjee. West Bengal does not even have a council. At least write the CM of that state which has a council. I had explained this earlier actually. Nitish Kumar from Bihar. A classic example of a chief minister who belongs to the council. Or the case of Maharashtra, till recently, Uddhav Thackeray belonged to the upper house, the council. Or previous tenure, in the previous tenure, Yogi Adityanath belonged to the council. It was this time that he got elected to the assembly. Okay, so this is a very common thing, nothing unique here. Then any report of a constitutional body or a statutory body, when the governor tables the report in the house, the report is sent to both the houses. Okay, SFC, State Finance Commission, you'll be studying this today only. SPSC, State Public Service Commission, and CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General. Such kind of reports are tabled in both the houses. Of course, it will be very embarrassing that we simply exclude the council from any kind of discussion. So that is not done. And this is Article 321. If at any point of time you want to enlarge the powers of the State Public Service Commission, jurisdiction meaning power. Jurisdiction means the area of influence or power. So if at any point of time you want to extend, increase, enlarge the power of the SPSC, then you will have to bring such a bill in either house and get it passed. But passage is the same. That concept is the same. LCs can have no ultimate control over the passage of bills. Are we clear? For ordinary bills, the 4-month criteria stands strong. For money bills, it's the same old story. Pranav, is there any CAG? No, there is no CAG for states. We only have one CAG. That's the head in the country. The same CAG, the same department also audits all the state governments. Are we clear? The department is called Indian Audit and Accounts Department, which has around 133 offices across the country, over 50,000 staff. So it's the same CAG's team. That's it. We are done with the state legislatures. Now, from this topic, only one question could be asked on the importance of councils. It has been asked. So sadly, now asking a question from this within the next 2-3 years is extremely unlikely, right? So it has already been done. It won't be asked again. Explain the constitutional provision under which councils are established. Review their working and current status with suitable illustrations. So here, explaining the constitutional provisions, which article 169 needs to be explained, right? And then talk about their functions, talk about their advantages, talk about their challenges, right? We can also mention equality of power. Now, one point that I would like to tell you is suggestion. So what about suggestion? We'll discuss this. Guys, some of you are very angry that it is cost. It's just increasing the cost. Of course. But councils actually can be utilized. Not in the current form. Currently, they are bogus bodies. I fully agree with all those who are saying here that councils are useless bodies. I fully agree. Right now, they are not really of any help. But they can be of help if we make slight modifications. I will discuss this suggestion under the topic Panchayat. And then hopefully you can appreciate the importance of councils, but not in the current situation. We need some modification there. Clear? That's it. We are done with the state legislative assemblies and the councils. Okay. Now, before we move on, in case somebody is reading Lakshmikant, though these are extremely low priority topics, and low priority does not mean don't study. Please study. 30 to 33. As far as important articles are concerned, see, when it comes to the appointment and removal, I would request you to remember these two articles, 155, 156. Why? Because the independence of the governor is very, very important. So a question along those lines can be asked at any point of time. So it looks always nice that you quote the article. I'm not saying if you write the article, the evaluator goes crazy, oh, amazing, what has happened, genius. He won't come to your house to give you the first rank, but it has a positive impact while he evaluates, right? That's how it helps. Okay. Apart from this, we'll have the same old story of going through these articles, like Article 200 is important, Article 254 is important. Yes, 163 is also important, right? Then 161 is important. Moving on, 169 is important. Beyond that, I don't see any other article to be important. Article 356 and 239 we'll discuss later on. So that's where we'll properly discuss it. That's why I'm not writing those two articles here. Clear? I have not mentioned ordinance also because we already know ordinance is 213. Plus, one more expectation from you. Please remember all the articles that you have right from 371 onwards, 371, 371A, etc. So please, if possible, please remember all those special responsibilities, like say 371 for Maharashtra, Gujarat, 371A for Nagaland, 371B for Assam, or 371C for Manipur, 371F for Sikkim, 371H for Arunachal, 371J for Karnataka, Hyderabad region. So it would be appropriate to mug up these articles. Clear? Everyone? No confusion? Lakshmi, Article 320 not really important. SK, how much time does it take to mug up these? Right, MUG, mugging. It depends. It's very subjective. It depends on your personal memory power. But for anybody who has even good memory power, it would take at least 10, 12 revisions to by heart it. Nothing less than that. You may remember it today, but you'll forget it after some time. So it's largely how frequently you revise and how many times you revise. Okay, let's now move on and start our discussion on local self governance. Local self governance. Now, local self governance at the rural level, we call it Panchayat. At the urban level, we call it municipalities. Okay, rural and urban, panchayats and municipalities. First up, we'll discuss the constitutional provision and we'll look at the panchayats that we have in the country, what is a provision, etc. So, as far as the constitution is concerned, the constitution never asked create a panchayat. No, it was not there. It was just that because Gandhiji always believed in this concept. So the constitution also wanted us to have something along the lines of panchayat. So there is a DPSP article, which is Article 40, which says that the organization of the village panchayat should take place. The state shall take steps to organize village panchayats and endow. Endow means to provide. Okay, this word endow means to provide. Endow them with such powers and authority as may be necessary to enable them to function as units of self government. Okay, so this was basically a part of Article 40, which is under DPSP. DPSP is Directive Principles of State Policy. Ignore what is DPSP. Focus on this point only. We'll discuss DPSP later on. So according to this Article 40, it was the expectation on the state that the state should take steps to organize village panchayats, right? And one very, very important point to know, Schedule 7, State List, Entry 5 has the topic local self-governance. Are we clear? Local governance is a part of state list subjects. State list, meaning when I tell you the provisions, there will be a lot of disparity with respect to certain provisions amongst the states. Are we clear? There is going to be a lot of disparity amongst the states, meaning in some states you'll have some different provisions, in other states some different provisions. Don't worry, that is of no concern to us. So you can see here that the constitution did definitely give importance that, oh, we need to have panchayats, but it never gave any status to panchayats. Okay. Anyway, let's begin our discussion with our first topic, panchayats. Now, before we begin, right from 1952, when this CDP was started, 1952, Community Development Program was started. We have had so many committees and commissions on panchayats, multiple committees and commissions on panchayats, starting with the Balwant Rai Mehta Committee. In fact, it was the Balwant Rai Mehta Committee which was formed in 1957 to evaluate the functioning of CDP. This committee actually gave the recommended creating panchayats. Guys, in the entire chapter Panchayat, I will use this as a short form for panchayats. Please don't ask me after one day, sir, what is this P? We'll just save some time by using this as a short form for panchayats. Clear? I hope we all agree. No concern, no issue there. Now, it was this Balwant Rai Mehta committee which told the government, come on, let's have panchayats. People should govern themselves. And based on this recommendation, we for the first time created panchayat in which state? First panchayat, Nagaur district, Rajasthan. So people of Rajasthan, a proud moment for you. Anybody from Rajasthan here? Nobody? Okay, great, amazing then. Hey, don't say no, yaar. Let them say yes. Okay, great, amazing. So hats off to you guys. Celebrate the success. And this was done on the 2nd of October 1959. Of course, Mahatma Gandhi's birthday, the right day to launch this panchayat in Nagaur. Okay. Then we saw these panchayats are against Hindu Marriage Act, Madhuri. From where do you draw this link and association? Something I study, I have to show it to everybody. Whether it is right or wrong or appropriate, I don't care. Amazing. Anyway, all these panchayats, all these committees, my bad, all these committees kept on giving recommendations because ultimately you have to improve the functioning of panchayats, make them more effective, right? So all these committees have given hundreds of recommendations. For example, look at Ashok Mehta committee. This committee alone gave 138 recommendations. My advice is don't read these recommendations. In your book, Lakshmikant, you have chapter 38, which talks about these panchayats. Now, the first few pages are focused on these committee recommendations only. Now the book only has few recommendations. No question has ever been asked on these recommendations in the last 30 years. 30, not 13, 30. Okay? So, in the last 30 years, there has been not a single question on these committees. Please ignore these committees. If in some mock test a question comes, that's of no concern to us. We know what questions have been asked and we should prepare accordingly. Okay? Now, so please focus on what is there in the PPT. Don't go crazy for useless information, right? Okay, let's move on now. So, in 1992, finally, we thought, let's start with this entire concept of panchayats. Let's give it a constitutional status. Because till 1992, some states used to have 4 levels, some states 2 levels. In every state, because it was left for the states to decide, there was too much of disparity. There was too much of disparity. So, to have some common provisions, the parliament modified the constitution through the 73rd Amendment Act 1992, and we had a part 9. Just like states are there in part 6, union in part 5, panchayats in part 9, and few articles were also added. Article 243 to 243O. It is not 2430. Okay, guys, it's 243O. Clear? Now, before we discuss what are the provisions, let me just explain to you firstly this entire structure, because I believe a lot of you would be from the cities, so you may not have an idea about how the panchayats are created. Okay, so let's begin our discussion. Please pay attention, because in all likelihood, your questions would be addressed without you even asking. But if you start asking questions in between, then you will skip on what I'm saying. And then again, it creates a gap, right? So have patience. Most of your doubts will be addressed without you even being bothered. But just focus. Okay. Firstly, let me just help you understand one important point. Let's assume this is one state. State. Any state. Now, this state is going to be divided into various parts called districts. Let's write here only. District. These districts are further divided into small parts called block. Okay. Now, this block can be known by various names. It can be called a samiti, it can be called a tehsil, it can be called a taluk, it can be called a mandal, all are same things. They are just synonyms, different name. The point is the same. We will call this an intermediate level. Okay, intermediate level. Now, every block, if you see, will further be divided into gram, village. Okay, this structure so far. Now wait. This village is further divided into small parts. We call these small parts as constituencies. Small parts called constituencies. But in most places, these small parts are actually referred to as, with a common name, ward. What are they called? Ward. So think of ward as a small colony in your village. Gram. Gram is village. Clear? Now, this is the structure of panchayats. So what happens is, every village has some people. The entire village population, the total village population, the total adult village population, the total adult village population whose name is in the voter list. This group is known as Gram Sabha. Are we clear, everybody? This is the lowest level at the organizational structure. What is Gram Sabha? Gram Sabha means the entire village population. Of course, they should be adults, meaning above 18, and their name should be in the voter list. So what is Gram Sabha? Adult village population or whose names are in the electoral roll, meaning whose names are in the voter list. Everybody, like you and me, common people above 18. That's called Gram Sabha. Now, don't be confused here. Gram Sabha does not always mean one village only. Sometimes a village can be very, very small. So, Gram Sabha can be one village or a few villages also. One or few villages. This is what is a Gram Sabha. Average population of Gram Sabha, let me just tell you, across the country is 3,416 people. So roughly think of it as 3 to 4,000 people in one Gram Sabha. That's an average. This number can change, right? So this is all the people of this area. Think of this. All the people living in this area, they are what? The members of the Gram Sabha, collectively called Gram Sabha. Now, again, let's understand this point. We have people living in these areas. People living in these areas. These people are divided along what? The lines of wards. Yes or no? Into various wards. So this is one ward. All these people are now divided and live in different ward or different constituency. People of each this ward, all the people here will choose somebody who is elected from this area, just like MP/MLA. They also choose people vote to choose one ward member. Okay. Similarly, all the people choose ward members. So all these ward members, all these ward members, all of them will sit in a place together, and that body is not called parliament, it's not called legislature, it is called panchayat. Since it is at the village level, we call it gram panchayat or the village panchayat. Are we clear of this concept now? Or even this is a problem for some? Lakshmi, can you explain these through Venn diagram? Why Venn diagram, madam? This is the explanation. Venn diagram is only going to create further confusion, right? It is already in a Venn diagram. It is just that it is in a square form. Are we clear, everyone, now? So this is how gram panchayat members are chosen. The entire village is divided into various small parts called wards. The people living in a ward, they will vote and choose a ward member. Now, this group is here also. Yes or no? Here also. And the point here is that people are living here as well. So now what is going to happen is that all the people living here, they will also vote. Okay, and choose members. These members people vote and choose members. These members will go and sit in a place called intermediate panchayat or a block panchayat or a taluk panchayat or a mandal, etc. We will use a neutral term, intermediate panchayat. Okay. So now intermediate panchayat. Members are chosen here also. Members divided into various parts, and from various parts people choose members who are a part of this entire block. Are we clear? Think of it like this. Some kind of division is there. People are choosing. They all come and sit here. Okay. Similarly, we also have the concept of district panchayat, also called popularly the Zilla Parishad. Here also we have all these people who are living, and again from various parts let's think of something like this. From various parts people vote and choose members who form a part of district panchayat. Clear? So again, people coming from various parts here, members, all elected directly by the people. This makes three levels, three institutional levels here, the three-tier structure. Starting with what? Starting with the Gram Panchayat at the base. Above that, we have the intermediate Panchayat, and above that, we have the district Panchayat, also called Zila Parishad. You can call it district Panchayat. Okay, so that's there. All clear so far? Now, all these bodies have some members, yes or no? We just saw Gram Panchayat also has members, district Panchayat also had members, intermediate Panchayat also had members, and of course there has to be a chairperson also. So there will be a chairperson and members. Remember this here? Gram Panchayat, all the people here vote and choose one person who goes and sits here, one person who sits here, one from here. So this entire group is represented by this Gram Panchayat, which comprises of some people, 10-15 people, who are chosen by various wards from that area. Chairperson and members. Here also, I can, okay, let me write the full form only. Chairperson, members, and here also chairperson and members. Now, as we have seen here, here, and here, people vote, people vote, people vote. So members at all the levels are elected directly by the people. Clear? Members, direct election. Members, direct election. Members, direct election. Now, how to choose these chairpersons? Very simple. How do you choose a speaker? The members of the parliament, the Lok Sabha, from amongst themselves, they choose somebody as a speaker. Here also, the chairperson is indirectly elected by and from amongst members. These people only choose somebody from amongst themselves that, okay, you become the chairperson. Now, in some states, the chairperson is chosen for 5 years. In some states, they keep on changing every year. In some states, 2.5 years. That's of no concern to us. Same here. The members choose from amongst themselves. Hence, we call it indirect election. So, indirectly elected by and from amongst members. Now the big question, how is a chairperson of Gram Panchayat chosen? I'll take a simple poll here, right? Please tell me, A for yes, B for no. The chairperson called Mukhiya, Sarpanch, Pradhan, President, whatever name you may call the person, he is chosen directly by the people. Please press A if you think it's direct. Please press B if you think it is indirect. Who marked C? Anyway, both A and B are actually right, because in some states they are chosen directly, in other states they are chosen indirectly. Are we clear? Why is this the case? Because the chairperson, constitution says, manner of election, state legislature by law to decide. Are we clear? That is why option C was there. That is why the answer is C, because both A and B are right and wrong. Okay? Okay, Sama and Basanti, don't be angry. That is why the option C was there, because in some states it can be direct, in some states it can be indirect. The constitution says that the respective state legislature by law, what is by law? What is by law? Simple majority. Great. Simple majority. I hope these points are now clear. Okay. Now, one more thing. The chairperson of, see, I am telling you again and again, I am giving you the most standard names. I would request you to use these standard names only. Now, in your state, the chairperson of the Gram Panchayat can be called a Sarpanch, can be called a Mukhiya, Pradhan, President. I don't care. You should also not care. Okay? Don't worry. The point is that all that you should know is what is the procedure mentioned in the constitution. Don't worry, you will never be asked to conduct elections for panchayats, at least till the age of 60. Okay? Now, same thing, intermediate panchayat can be called a Mandal Parishad, Panchayat Samiti, Taluk, Tehsil, we don't care. Please use these standard names only. District Panchayat can be called Zilla Parishad, but I'd prefer use standard names. We should never let the evaluator know which place you belong to. We never know the bias of the evaluator. What if he's a South Indian bias against North Indian, or North Indian bias against South Indian? We don't know. Let's keep all these things personal. Okay. Now comes the puja. Difference between Gram Panchayat and Gram Sabha. How can that be a question? Gram Panchayat is an elected body. Gram Sabha is the people of a village. It's like you are asking a difference between a citizen and an MP. People choose members of parliament. Anyway, this seems to be slightly challenging as a concept for some. Lakshmi, these all panchayat section mentioned, yes, I will not lie to you. These are all constitutional provisions. Okay. Now, one more thing. Yes, Divya, everybody, the same part of a block, you vote for a block member, You're also a part of a district. You vote for the district panchayat also. Okay, everything same. It's like we only vote for MP election, we only vote for MLA election. Same person. Now, one more thing. We have seen one type of reservation in the, so that's why I said Nutikadi, please relax. All your doubts will be addressed. Okay. Now, in the Lok Sabha, in the Rajya Sabha, in the Vidhan Sabha, in the Vidhan Parishad, we have reservation for SCs and STs. Yes or no? A for yes, B for no. In the Lok Sabha, in the Vidhan Sabha, in the Rajya Sabha, in the Vidhan Parishad, we have reservation for SCs and STs. Yes or no? In the Lok Sabha, in the Vidhan Sabha, in the Rajya Sabha, in the Vidhan Parishad, do we have reservation in Rajya Sabha for SC, STs? Do we have it for Vidhan Parishad? Now tell me. You don't even listen to the question properly. How will we ever clear the examination like this? Okay, we have no reservation for SC/ST in the Rajya Sabha. We have no reservation for SC/ST in the Vidhan Parishad. The reservation is only in the Lok Sabha and the Vidhan Sabha, the assembly, the directly elected houses. Are you clear now? This I think you know. Okay. Do we have reservation for women in the Lok Sabha? Tell me. Type yes or no. Do we have reservation for women in the Lok Sabha? Oh. 10 seconds. A for yes, B for no. Reservation for women in the Lok Sabha. A for yes, B for no. When did we ever see this provision that there is a reservation for women in the Lok Sabha? When? Please tell me how many seats are reserved. I really want our aspirants to know how many seats for women are reserved in the Lok Sabha. There is no reservation, right? There is no reservation. Anyway, but in the Panchayat, there is mandatory constitutional reservation, right? So we have Article 243, capital D. I would request you to remember this article. This article is important. It talks about reservation. Mandatory reservation. Reservation of seats for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe based on population. For women, how many seats are reserved? Not less than 1/3 seats. I hope this point is clear. Not less than 1/3 seats are reserved for women at the level of panchayats. Clear? This is a mandatory reservation. Now, one more thing. Very simple, easy to understand. See, in the Rajya Sabha, do we have some nomination? 12 members can directly be nominated, yes or no? Same goes for the Vidhan Parishad, the Legislative Council also. 1/6 members are directly nominated by the governor from various fields. Here also there is some nomination, but of who? Which person can be nominated? Now, firstly, the nomination is not some mandatory provision. State legislature by law may provide. What's the meaning of this word may? It's optional. May provide. May provide what? Number one, at the level of members, or let's draw this in the opposite fashion. Nomination of MP, MLA, MLC, and the chairperson of IP, Intermediate Panchayat, IP. Are we clear? IP. This is the IP. So the chairpersons at the IP level, they can directly be nominated as members. It is not a standard provision. The state legislature may provide. It may not provide. Point one. Point two, amongst members and chairpersons, there can also be a reservation. Reservation for OBC, other backward classes. OBC reservation is not mandatory. Though a lot of states have provided for it, it is not mandatory. It is optional. State may not provide. Then, here also, nomination of MP, MLA, MLC, or chairperson of the Gram Panchayat, GP, Gram Panchayat. They can be made members here directly. Okay? They can be appointed as members. The local MP, MLA, don't worry, it is not the violation of office of profit. It is allowed. Second, here also, reservation for other backward classes. And lastly, at the level of Gram Panchayat, there is a possibility of only one thing, reservation for OBCs. I hope this point is clear. This summarizes our entire concept of panchayats in one slide, all the constitutional provisions mentioned here. Now, at every level, you have some officer attached. At the Gram Panchayat level, we have a person called Panchayat Secretary. Okay. At the intermediate level, we have a person called BDO, Block Development Officer. And at the district level, we have the officer called DC, District Collector. These are all executives. Okay. So the panchayat has a link between the government and itself. Who will have the link? Who will act as the link? Who will control, or who will ensure that the provisions, the issues pertaining to the Gram Panchayat or the Block Panchayat or the District Panchayat are sent to the state government at various levels? These executives, they are your link with the government. Okay. So here it's the district collector, people like you, some of you clearly IAS officers. BDO, the block development officer, and Panchayat secretary. Okay, that's it. Now, just to tell you that this concept or this idea of panchayats is of such grave importance that in our country we have you will be surprised to know that in our country there are roughly 2.7 lakh gram panchayats, 2,69,990 total gram panchayats across the country, 2.7 lakh. Okay, and we have around 6,700 intermediate panchayats, 6,684, and we have DP around 676 district panchayats. Clear? DP. This is the scale of representation I am referring to, number, and all these levels have produced 32 lakh elected representatives, that is chairpersons plus members at all the levels. How many? 32 lakh people, 31.89 lakh to be exact, of which 14.54 lakh are women, of which 14.54 lakh are women. This is roughly 45.6% or around 46%, which is way higher, way higher. This is the scale of representation that we are talking about. Okay. That's it. We are done with our discussion on the structure of panchayats. Okay. Now, in your state, I will tell you once again, in your state, the names can be different. Please understand, it may not be possible for somebody to know what is the name of the panchayat at your state. If you go to UP, the Gram Panchayat chairperson is called Pradhan. If you go to a state like Bihar, they are called Mukhya. If you come to Tamil Nadu, they are called President, right? So it may not be possible for me also to know what nomenclature your state has given. If you want to know for your own state, please download your own state's Panchayat Act. But that is of no concern for UPSC. In your state PCS, if it is asked, that's not my problem. But UPSC will not ask, tell us the name of the Gram Panchayat's chairperson in Rajasthan. Secondly, these are the standard terms used. DC is a district collector, an IS officer. Now, if you ask me, sir, does he come through UPSC? It's not mandatory. You can come through SPSC and can get promoted also. So these kind of questions will make no sense. Okay. Same goes for BDO. State service examinations. Of course, now BDO will not come from UPSC, from state services. Can be a promotee also. Promotions also there. Same goes for Panchayat secretary. Clear? And then coming to other nomenclatures also, names can differ, but the structure remains the same. The provisions remain the same. These are all constitutional provisions which you should know by heart. It very simple and easy to understand. I hope I made myself extremely clear. And now let's take a break. After the break, we'll look at what exactly are the provisions in the Constitution. It's the same thing. We have seen the structure now. Now I'll show you how those words are mentioned in the Constitution and some other provisions as well. Once it's done, we'll go to discuss the problems concerning panchayats. That is a more important topic for us. Clear? Okay. Take a break. Be back at 7. I'll leave at this slide. And if your state allows for direct election, one for the sarpanch. Yes, Anu, what is that? State legislature by law may allow MLA MP. And then that would not still be 5, that would be 6 then. MLA also, MP also. Then add the graduation voter also. In the case of MLC, that would make it 7. Add teacher also, it would make 8. Anyway, 5 is not correct. Who amongst please don't bring either be rural, Mandal Parishad, Zila Parishad, that is MP. As I said, in your state, sir, name can be different. So Mandal Parishad Territorial Constituency. Basically, this is the Mandal Parishad Territorial Constituency. This is the Zila Parishad Territorial Constituency. That's it. Nothing else. Should we proceed now? Everyone? Do one thing, just draw this diagram couple of times when you are free. That will be sufficient. Nomination of MP MLA. So this point, members are chosen by the people, right? Members have been chosen. But in this intermediate panchayat, we can also have some outsiders who are directly appointed, nominated. Which outsider? MP can also be asked, come on, you are now member of the Zila Parishad also. That's possible. But that depends on the respective states. Shahid, same person at 2 places, member of district panchayat and chairperson of IP. Member of district panchayat. Yes, that's possible. What's the problem there? What's the problem here? I don't see any problem. If your state legislature has allowed for it, it can happen. Don't we have MP in the parliament, minister also, and sometimes that person can be member of a committee also, right? Now, let's see all the provisions one by one. We have just started the topic, okay? The real topic is the issues of panchayats. We are yet to discuss that. This is just basic knowledge from where a prelims based question can come, okay? Now, the 73rd Amendment Act 1992 provides for what? Provides for a 3-tier system with 4 institutions. 3-tier system. What's this 3-tier system? 3-tier system refers to Gram Panchayat, Intermediate Panchayat, and District Panchayat. 3-tier. 4 institutions: Gram Sabha, Gram Panchayat, Intermediate Panchayat, District Panchayat. 4 institutions. And Articles 243 to 243O were added, and also one schedule was added called 11th schedule. What is that? We'll discuss it shortly. One more thing, all these provisions came into effect on the 24th of April 1992. So we call that day as the Panchayati Raj Day. 24th April, celebrated as the National Panchayati Raj Day. Okay. Now, what are the mandatory provisions? A 3-tier system of Panchayati Raj has to be there in every state. It is mandatory. Because before this, some states used to have 3, some had 2, some had 4. So we said no, 3-tier everywhere. But then some states have very low population. There, uselessly creating 3-tier could be a problem. So an exception has been given. What's the exception? The exception is that states with population less than 20 lakhs, in states with population less than 20 lakhs, IP may not be created. Example, Sikkim. Sikkim's population as per 2011 census is 6.11 lakh. So there is no need to create an IP. IP may not be created. If they want to, create it. But if they don't want to, it's okay. Then all the members of Panchayat, at the village level, at the intermediate level, at the district level shall be elected directly by the people. Look at this. Direct election, direct election, direct election. Now, this is Article 243D. Reservation of seats for SC and ST in every panchayat, and reservation of not less than 1/3 seats, 1/3 of the total number of seats for women. Reservation of seats, meaning reservation both in terms of chairperson and amongst members. Seats will be reserved for SC STs, and here also both for women and SC ST. Then 5-year term of office, just like the Lok Sabha, just like the Vidhan Sabha, 5-year term of office. Now, in the Lok Sabha or the Vidhan Sabha, what is the minimum age to contest? Can somebody please write this answer, or will that be too difficult? Minimum age to contest. Open your ears and listen to what I am asking. In the Lok Sabha and the Legislative Assembly, what's the minimum age to contest? Here also mistakes are being made. In the Lok Sabha and the Assembly, the minimum age to contest is 25. Okay? In the Rajya Sabha and the Legislative Council, the minimum age to contest is 30. Clear? But at the level of Panchayat, the minimum age to contest is 21 years. How many years? 21 years. So at the age of 21, you can now contest elections for the panchayats, not for the Lok Sabha, not for the assembly, not for the Rajya Sabha, not for the council, but for the panchayats. Okay. Now, when it comes to, just a sec, guys. Of India, Election Commission of India has been given the task to conduct elections for the Lok Sabha, for the assembly, for the Rajya Sabha, for the council, for the president, for the vice president. That's it. The conduct of elections for the panchayats and municipalities is given to a separate person only. That person is called State Election Commissioner. This is a constitutional body. Okay. This is mentioned under Article 243 capital K. Okay. SEC, State Election Commissioner. Are we clear? This person is given the task to conduct the elections for the panchayats and municipalities. This person has no relationship to the Election Commission of India. These people are appointed by the governor. And how are they removed? Removal is like High Court judge. How is the High Court judge removed? We'll discuss that later on. Just know that they are removed by voting in the parliament. Are we clear? Okay. So look at this very interesting provision. State Election Commissioner is appointed by the state governor. But when it comes to removal, the removal is done by parliament. Did we understand this point? Okay. Then, just like we have the SEC, we also have the concept of a finance commission, State Finance Commission. In every state, we'll have a State Finance Commission, SFC. Okay. This State Finance Commission's task, what is the task of this Finance Commission? The task of this Finance Commission This is also a constitutional body, which is Article 243 capital I, SFC. Okay, State Finance Commission. So what's the task that they perform? Of course, a very simple task would be to advise on what taxes can be given to panchayats. Advise whom? The state government. Also advise on what grants can be given for panchayats, free money given to panchayats. Clear? That's their task. We also have the concept of auditors. Who is an auditor? Auditor is somebody who evaluates the money being spent, right? So for audit, again, state legislature by law decides how to hire auditor, etc. Clear? CAG has no control here. Are we clear on this? CAG cannot come to the panchayat level and conduct the audits. It will be impossible. So much of work, they'll commit suicide only. Right? So this is only limited to, CAG's task is limited to auditing the central government and the state governments. Panchayats, you please hire your own auditors. Now, let me explain this concept of reservation for once. when you are reserving seats for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes in any, let's say in Gram Panchayat, this Gram Panchayat has, say, 10 members. Let's assume 10 members. So this entire village is choosing 10 people. Now we have to find out in the village what is the percentage of SC population. What is the percentage of ST population? Let's say if SC population is 20%, ST population is 10%. Then out of these 10 members, how many seats should be reserved for scheduled caste people? 20% seats. This means 20% of 10, 2 seats. Yes or no? So members in proportion to the population of the SC/ST in that panchayat area. Clear? Everybody? Basic. But when it comes to chairperson, how many seats of chairpersons are to be reserved? Then we have to find out what is the population of SC/ST in the entire state. And based on that, those many seats across the state are reserved for scheduled castes or scheduled tribes. So this is very simple. It is based on population. There is no problem only. That has been the case with respect to the uh, Lok Sabha as well as the Legislative Assembly. Clear? Now, one small point. How many seats are to be reserved? What is the population of SC/ST? What is the size of a ward? All these things are decided by the state legislature, the state government. Clear? Not the delimitation commission. Delimitation commission cannot simply do this. They have not been given the authority. I mean, they can. It's not that they don't have the knowledge. They can. But as of now, all these SC/ST reservation, women reservation, etc., it is all under the control of the respective state government, under their complete manipulation. Clear? See, SC/ST reservation is very simple to understand because in any area you will have that many SC/ST only, based on population. Very simple. But the women's reservation is slightly difficult to calculate. How? Because, and why? Because women are there 50% everywhere, right? So think of this. There are 6 different seats. Seat number A, seat A, seat B, C, D, E, F. Now let's think of the reservation. We started this in 1992. After 5 years, 97. After 5 years, 2002. Then 2007. Then 2012. Then 17. Then 22. So on and so forth. Now, how many seats have to be reserved? 1/3 seats have to be reserved. How many? 1/3 seats. So out of 6 seats, what is going to be the 1/3 of 6 seats? Can you please tell me? Can you please tell me? 2. Okay. 2 seats. Great. Let's assume that in the year 1992, seat A was reserved and seat B was reserved. All these are open, unreserved. Here, R means reserved and this means open, unreserved. Now tell me, in 1997, if we again reserve these 2 seats only, then the women of C, D, E and F areas will never get a chance to ever become a member of the panchayat. Yes or no? Do you agree with this? If we keep the seats fixed, these women of these areas have no chance only. They may not get the benefit of reservation. So it is going to be very silly to have only 2 seats reserved. right? They can contest in the open seats, but when a seat is reserved, the idea is that there is a guarantee. A woman contesting here, she is allowed to contest. Understand, when you make these statements, it again says that you have zero understanding of reservation. Reservation ensures guarantee, right? The whole purpose of reservation is to ensure guarantee. So, to ensure that guarantee, what do we do? After 5 years, these two seats are open. Anybody can contest. We will reserve some other two seats. Clear? After 5 years, again, these two seats are open. We will reserve some other two seats. After 5 years, other two seats. After 5 years, other two seats. After 5 years, other two seats. And this process continues forever. Are we clear on this? This is called rotation. Rotation. Does it make sense? Haji Pooja, now what is the problem here? Here also there is a problem. This is by far the best way to have reservation. Suggest an alternative then. I mean, in this fashion way, every area, the women of every area will ultimately get a chance to contest. Are we clear? The reservation keeps on rotating. Simple. Okay. See, you have the reservation explained here. Watch the video a number of times. One more thing, please understand. Of these, we have to have SC/ST women also. Some seats have to go to SC/ST women. That is based on percentage population. Clear? So within the women also, there has to be some reservation for SC/ST. Okay? And for open, meaning unreserved seats, it is just like the Lok Sabha. It is just like the Rajya Sabha. Why is Soyab asking this question? Did you not ask this question in the case of Lok Sabha also, which I addressed? Tell me, in the case of Lok Sabha, all other seats which are not reserved for SC/ST, can SC/ST person contest from there? Tell me. This is why I get confused. 99% of you are writing yes, correct answer. But some of you are writing no. What is this? Sir, open seat means anybody can contest. Reservation means in those areas only they can contest. Right? That's the whole concept of reservation. If a seat is open, anybody can contest. SC, ST, OBC, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, anybody. Are we clear? Please don't write no. Anyone can contest. These are very basic and generic things. Okay, Soumya, chairperson seat here is also based on rotation. Simple. Okay. Everybody clear now? That's it. So it's a very interesting way, rotational basis reservation. But let me just come to this point again in future. You can find this very nice, but it does not have a very good effect actually. I'll come to it shortly. Then one more thing, one more difficult point. Though I have explained this point in the class, but based on your responses, let's not demotivate you. Okay, let me ask a question first before making a judgment. That would be very bad to presume. In the case of Lok Sabha, last election took place in 2019. Last election took place in 2019. This government continues for how many years? The Lok Sabha tenure is how many years? 5 years. 2024. Everybody on board. Okay. Now we are currently in 2023. Again, I am saying I am not hoping or expecting all this, but what if suddenly 400 MPs die? Okay, 400 MPs die. Then the Lok Sabha has to be dissolved. Lok Sabha has to be dissolved in 2023. We can go for again fresh elections. Now, the new Lok Sabha will continue till what time? Please mark the answer. A, 2024 and B, 2028. Take the poll, please. I did not want to presume, but see, that is a problem. I had mentioned this point in the class earlier actually, that the Lok Sabha, every newly elected Lok Sabha gets a full 5-year term. Sir, you have taught this earlier also. Yes, PU, I have, but who will tell other innocent people? Every newly elected Lok Sabha gets a full 5-year term. If something happens in between, that's secondary. So, please guys, the new Lok Sabha will continue till how much time? 2028. Are we clear? Now, those who mark 2024, you please write, is it clear? Okay. Others, it's clear only. Ashay, but in which case it run for 2024? In no case. In no case can that ever happen. Are we clear? Okay. This concept is okay for Lok Sabha. This concept is okay for the Legislative Assembly also. But this concept is not applicable for Panchayats. Are we clear? This concept is not applicable for Panchayats. Meaning, if I give the example here of Panchayat, a Panchayat, if it gets dissolved in between, and here a new Panchayat is formed, it only gets the remainder period, not the full 5-year term. Now you tell me, why does this happen for Panchayat? Tell me. Why do we have this for Panchayats? Think. There's a very, very important reason behind it. Oh, sorry, my bad. I asked you to think. That can be a very challenging task. See, how many panchayats do we have across the country? Just take gram panchayats, for example. Gram panchayats, 2.7 lakh gram panchayats. 2.7 lakh. This means in a state, there are thousands and thousands of gram panchayat. And in a large state like UP, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, can you imagine thousands of gram panchayats? If every day some gram panchayat is getting dissolved and they have a different 5-year term, the SEC will have to keep on conducting elections only daily. Daily in some area, Panchayat election. Daily in some area, Panchayat election. So to ensure that every Panchayat or every Gram Sabhas, Gram Panchayat, Block Panchayat, District Panchayat is in sync, if by any chance some Gram Panchayat gets dissolved in between, we will only give the newly elected Panchayat the remainder term, so that they again are brought in sync with the other Panchayats. Are we clear? This is the logic, not required for you to know. It's okay. And this is what is mentioned in the Constitution. Are we clear? I am not creating this on my own. It is mentioned in the Constitution. A Panchayat reconstituted after premature dissolution. What is premature? Premature dissolution meaning before the official end of tenure. That means before 5 years. Continues only for remainder period. Clear? Remainder period. Now, two questions here. One question somebody is asking, sir, is it the same for DP and IP? Sir, I am mentioning Panchayat. Did I mention only Gram Panchayat? Gram Panchayat, Intermediate Panchayat, District Panchayat, same provision. Okay? Second question. How does a Panchayat get dissolved in between only? That the respective state legislature by law decides what can be a provision. Like in some states, the Panchayats can be dissolved on allegations of corruption. These things are there. So how does a Panchayat get dissolved? The respective state legislatures make laws. Clear? Okay. Prem Kumar, we'll discuss proxy. Just calm down. Let me come to issues first. Firstly, see the provisions, then issues. One more thing. Elections must be held within 6 months. If at any point of time a Panchayat gets dissolved, in between only, before the end of tenure, elections have to be held within 6 months. Clear? Now, one more point. If only 6 months are left, let us say the Panchayat gets dissolved in the month of January 2024 and the 5-year period was about to come to an end in the month of March 2024. Now it is illogical that for 2 months we go for elections and elect new members. Yes or no? Do you think it's illogical? Of course. For 2 months, that Gram Panchayat, that Block Panchayat, that Zilla Parishad can remain without a functioning body. No problem. It's okay, because elections also involve cost, money, taxpayers' money is involved. Are we clear on this? So, if remainder period is less than 6 months, no need for elections. Just a point for you to understand. Okay. Yashi, as I just explained, panchayats can be dissolved based on the respective state legislatures' laws. It can be on account of corruption, etc. Soyab, can same members be elected again? Sir, can same person become MP again? Tell me, sir. Soyab, you please answer this question. Only you will answer this question. Can same person become MP again? You have your answer. Here also. Pavitra says no. Same person cannot become MP again. Why are you making these statements, sir? Anum, you please see the recording here, okay, for the explanation. Are we clear on the elections now? We have some popular people in the class who are extremely popular. So anyway, now see, let us come to a very critical question. Eventually, all this drama to conduct elections for what? For giving them power, for giving them functions. Because we are constantly saying that we want decentralization. Decentralization, meaning sharing of power with the lower level. That's called decentralization. Everybody keep your ears open. Decentralization means sharing power with the lower levels. Okay. Sharing power with the lower level. This is the whole concept of the panchayats, making the people masters of their own destiny. So in the constitution, there are two specific articles added which talk about what kind of functions can the panchayats perform and what kind of money, funds can be given to panchayats. First up, functions, powers, authority and responsibilities of panchayat. Now look at the biggest problem here. Subject to the provisions of this constitution, the legislature of the state, fair enough, the state legislature, can you see the word? What's the word? May. May not. May by law. What is by law? Simple majority. So the legislature of the state may by law endow, means provide the panchayats with such power and authority as may be necessary to enable them to function as institutions of self-government. And such law may contain provisions for the devolving of power, devolving of responsibility upon the panchayat at appropriate level. What is the meaning of appropriate level of panchayat? How many levels do you have in panchayat? Tell me. How many levels? 3 levels. Gram panchayat, intermediate panchayat, district panchayat. Subject to such conditions. So, the preparation of plans for economic development and social justice. So these kind of things can be, mind you, the problem is may. If the state government does not want, it will not give a single power to the panchayat. If it wants, all the power. And then implementation of schemes for economic development and social justice, as may be entrusted, given to them, including those matters which are mentioned in the 11th schedule of the Indian Constitution. So we all know the 7th schedule, 3 lists. Basically, 7th schedule is what? The areas on which center and states can make laws, the demarcation. 11th schedule is the schedule which contains 29 topics. We call them functional items, on which the panchayats may, that's the key word here, the panchayats may be allowed to make laws. I hope now you understand that the success and failure, or the effectiveness and the ineffectiveness of any panchayat, district, intermediate or gram, depends on your state government. If the state legislature has any interest in respecting the panchayats, they will give some functions to perform. Otherwise, it will be a useless body, right? So what kind of topics? Like agriculture, land improvement, animal husbandry, dairying, poultry, small scale industries, housing, drinking water, education, women child development, welfare of weaker sections for SCs, STs, all these areas where the panchayats may be allowed to perform functions, may be allowed. Now, when you are giving somebody some kind of power, some kind of function to perform, money is required. Yes or no? Money. So, what is the source of funds? Again the same old story. The Panchayat, the legislature of a state, may by law, same old story, may by law authorize a Panchayat to levy, meaning impose, collect and appropriate such taxes, duties, tolls that the state allows. Will also give to Panchayat some taxes, duties, tolls that the state government collects. What kind of taxes does the state government collect? Excise, tax on alcohol. So if you want your state government to make more money, drink more alcohol, more revenue for your state government. I am not advising you drink alcohol, please. Okay? Don't take it seriously. Tomorrow I may get a mail from some parents that you said drink alcohol and my son or daughter said I am contributing to my state. State Zindabad. Please don't drink alcohol and all. It's okay. Study in the exam first. Once you clear the exam, do whatever you like. So providing for making grants in aid also. Now, what kind of taxes do you think panchayats collect? Panchayats don't have power to collect lot many taxes. They collect very generic kind of taxes. Okay. What kind of taxes? Example, tax on property, land revenue, tax on street lights, tax on water, tax on market fairs, tax on shops, tax on cattle, etc. In most cases, panchayats will never impose any kind of tax. Anyway, now do we have a CFI for the center? What is a CFI? The Consolidated Fund of India is an account where all the government's money is kept. Similarly, do we have a CFS for every state? Yes, of course. A Consolidated Fund of State where all the money is kept for the state government. Similarly, the legislature of the state may by law also provide for creating such a fund for creating all the money received and spending the money. So a fund may be created. This fund may be created, which can be similar to CFI or CFS. Okay, that's it. So these are the provisions. Now, lastly, there are some optional provisions. Optional provisions mean state legislature may by law provide. May or may not. Giving the representation to MPs, MLAs. Yes or no? Look at this figure here. May by law provide. Nomination for MP, MLA. What else? Providing reservation of seats for backward classes. Who are the backward classes? OBCs. Other backward classes. So right now we are witnessing a huge protest in Maharashtra with respect to the demand for reservation to be categorized under OBC. Then, devolving the powers and responsibilities is an optional provision. Granting financial powers is an optional provision. So all these are optional provisions. Okay. Soumya sir, all the provisions may by law be provided. What provisions? These are all mandatory provisions. Mandatory, 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 mandatory. What is the option here? Okay, there is no option. Yes, Soya, we can have a contingency fund for the state also. no puja, OBC reservation is not mandatory at the panchayat level. Okay. Devolution of power, meaning giving power. Like when your father and mother leave the house, they devolve their power of thrashing you to you so that you can thrash your younger siblings. Okay. So the power to maintain strict discipline in the house is given to you. That is called devolution, giving power to lower levels. So when they leave, you now have been given the authority to start beating them. Okay. Now, what is part 9? What is part 9 of the Indian Constitution? Panchayats. We are discussing part 9 only. This is how focused you are. Part 9. Okay. Panchayats. So these panchayat provisions are not applicable in certain areas. Part 9, that is the provision of panchayats. Panchayat provisions. Not to apply to certain areas. For example, in Schedule 5 and Schedule 6 areas. What are Schedule 5 and 6 areas? We'll discuss later on. So don't panic at all. Okay. Now, if you want to extend the provisions of panchayat in these areas, it can be done. Can be extended or applied by Parliament by law. Okay. Schedule 5 areas. Schedule 6 areas. These are small areas in certain states in our country. Okay. We'll discuss them later on. These can be extended. The panchayat provisions can be extended to these areas. But who can do it? Parliament can do it by law. In fact, it has already been done. Already done. There is a law in the country called PESA 1996. For Schedule 5 areas, it has been done. Not for 6, for 5 areas. We'll discuss PESA also later on when we study Schedule 5 areas. Don't worry. What is the PESA and all? Not at all. Now, panchayat provisions will not exist or will not apply in states of Nagaland, in states of Meghalaya and Mizoram. But again, here also, can be extended by, now by what? Not the parliament, by state legislature. By law? No. By special majority, which is what? 2/3 present and voting, more than 50% total strength or total membership. Clear on this? So, in case you want to extend the panchayat provisions into the states of Nagaland, Meghalaya and Mizoram, it can be done, but by the respective states. So today I was making a statement actually. In what case can the state legislature have a special majority? So a lot of you answered to create a council. This is one more way in which a few states can have a special majority. Clear? Now, apart from this, there is no concept of panchayats in Manipur where you have district councils. Manipur has panchayats. There is a law called Manipur Panchayat Act 1994. but in certain parts of Manipur, hill areas of Manipur primarily, no panchayats. Are we clear? Then, in the hill areas of Darjeeling district in West Bengal, there is no Zilla Parishad. Here, no Zilla Parishad or no district panchayat. Zilla Parishad means district panchayat, DP. Clear? Apart from this, you can also add certain things like no panchayat in Delhi and Chandigarh. Why don't we have panchayat in Delhi and Chandigarh? Innocent aspirants, please tell me. Why? No, because panchayats are meant for rural areas. These are urban areas. Okay, don't say UT and all. Logic is wrong. They have municipalities because these are urban areas. Okay. Now, one more thing. In the case of Arunachal Pradesh primarily has scheduled tribe population. Okay, scheduled tribe population. So no SC reservation in Arunachal. Okay, so basically this is Article 243D. Article 243D says there has to be mandatory reservation for SC ST everywhere, but that SC mandatory reservation is not applicable to Arunachal. Are we clear, everyone? Okay, so that's it. Pavitra, you have been attending weekend also, weekday also, and still you ask reason. I just said the reason, that there is no SC population in Arunachal, scheduled tribes in Arunachal. So makes no sense to have scheduled caste reservation in Arunachal. Okay. See, as far as these areas are concerned, I think I saw somebody mentioning, yes, again, Basu has mentioned this. Why don't these areas want power? Basu, you'll be surprised, these areas have more power. The structure that these areas have provide for more autonomy. It is just that part 9 kind of panchayats don't exist. They have their own local bodies under different laws. Nagaland has village development boards, town councils. Mizoram has notified area councils, village councils. Mizoram also has one corporation. Meghalaya has its own town committees, municipal board, ADCs. So it is not that they don't have bodies like that. It is just that it is not the panchayat that we know under part 9. They have their own separate bodies. And when I tell you schedule 6 areas, you'll be amazed at how much autonomy we have provided to certain parts of the country. That's it. We are done with the constitutional provisions of panchayat. Okay. Moving on now to solving some questions, and then we'll discuss certain issues. I'm sure I will not get 90% plus correct answers. Anyway, 6 months, of course. Elections are to be held within 6 months. Absolutely correct. Solve one more question. This could be slightly more. Tribe for any person to be a member of panchayat is how much? 21. One is wrong. A panchayat reconstituted after premature dissolution continues only for the remainder period. Absolutely correct. Correct. Solve one more question. Okay. Which one of the following authorities makes recommendations to the governor as to the principles for determining the taxes and duties? DPC, you have not even studied what is this. Why will the ministry give recommendation? Ministry gives an order. SFC, State Finance Commission, a constitutional body under Article 243, capital I. Okay. Now coming to the fundamental problems of PRIs. Pihu. Sorry, sir. Don't be sorry. But in endow, madam, if you forget the meaning, Google search for meaning. Endow means to provide. To provide is to endow. Okay, Roshan, read the question again. At peace, you will understand it. Fundamental problems of PRIs. Now, before anybody jumps, what the hell is PRI? I'll write it. Don't worry. The sense of panic inside me is way more than you. PRI refers to Panchayati Raj institutions, meaning what? The GP, the IP, the DP. Okay. Sir, I can't see you. Sir, you refresh if you can't see me. Now, what are the major issues? See, the very first issue that you will find with panchayats is that people who are holding power at the state level, the state government, the state legislature, they have no interest in giving up these powers. No interest whatsoever. So, very poor devolution of 3 Fs. What are these 3 Fs? These 3 Fs are funds, functions, and functionaries. The 3 Fs, right? See, when it comes to 3 Fs, the idea here is that the state governments don't want to give money to panchayats. Number two, they won't give powers to panchayats. And number three, they don't even devolve trained staff. Functionaries are the staff. No trained staff sent to panchayats. No training being provided. Because ultimately, if I give you funds and functions, still at the village level, I have to understand that you may not have the technical knowledge. So I have to train people there. Nothing is being done. Okay. And the next point relates absence of adequate political and bureaucratic will and vision. See, the real problem in our state governments is that if I, as an MLA, as a state minister, will give all the functions to you to perform at the panchayat level, what will I go and seek votes on in future? I want to go and seek votes from people. Based on what? What can I offer to people now? Nothing. Zero. Because the people can say, hey, we are doing things on our own. We don't need to vote for you. I can get my task done through my gram panchayat only. Sorry. Tata, bye bye. So the state government feels that if I start giving up all the power to panchayats, my importance would come down. It can impact me in the election. So the state governments don't really want the functions and funds to be devolved. Right? They always want that the people there should depend on the state government. See, this is a problem that we have in our country only. The issue of joining the mainstream. It is very, very important for all of us to join the mainstream. National integration. Uniformity is more important, right? Uniform, right? So whenever any state demands even some autonomy, center goes crazy. Oh, problems. I mean, when we have genuine problems of insurgency, then the center is quiet. But some random government demands some autonomy, then center goes crazy. And every party at center has the same problem. Maybe in 1950s, national unity was a very serious concern. But now no state actually wants to part away from India. Now there could be some small insurgent groups here and there. That is bound to happen. So this concept of coming together is not there, but holding together is there. And the exact same problem with bureaucracy also. Because bureaucracy perceives the panchayat, the local body, as a threat to their own powers. It simply does not have the mindset to serve under the local politicians. If I ask you a simple question here, the CM, any minister, or an MLA comes to a district magistrate to meet, do you think the DM can ask him wait outside for 6 hours, 4 hours? No. But don't we see that the Gram Panchayat members, the block Panchayat members, the district Panchayat members are waiting for hours and hours outside the BDO's office, the DC's office, that when will Sahib call us inside? The Sahib who has cleared some examination now thinks that he is the boss running the country, right? And the same Sahib becomes a meek mouse in front of a local politician, an MLA, MP. So this kind of dual behavior is not appropriate. Don't disrespect these people because they also are elected people, right? Elected politicians. So you have to give them the due respect that they deserve. So absence of that will and vision only. That if I devolve powers to them, they can help manage lot of smaller issues on their own, which will ease my task also, right? So if I, let's say, devolve some power to you, you can manage things on your own. In future, it eases my burden also of providing good governance to you. Then think of this. We surprisingly have started viewing panchayats not as a panchayat, local self-governance. What is self-governance? Meaning, I decide what is good for me. I decide what plans, programs, schemes in my area. I don't want schools. I want roads right now. I have plenty of schools. I don't want hospital. I want a school right now. I have plenty of hospitals. Let me decide. That's the whole point. But that does not happen. What happens is the central government, the state governments, they will prepare some scheme and program and they will simply send money and tell the panchayats, implement the scheme. A panchayat is not some implementing agency. They are elected people. If you want to implement a scheme, you hire more officers, train them properly. So we have started viewing panchayats in the very narrow zone of service delivery, that they are some kind of an implementing agency, a body to implement government programs. And when I say this, some of you may be surprised, but that's what panchayats are meant for, because that is what we have been made to believe, that the most effective way to implement a scheme is to ask the panchayats. But the problem is that panchayats were not meant for this. If you want to properly implement a scheme, you please hire more people, train them, and let them do the work. Let the panchayats become the true masters of their own destiny. That's what's happening. Then, see, a very, very critical problem. At the local level, uh, politicians at higher levels, they don't directly participate in elections. You won't see Congress and BJP directly fighting, but their members are fighting, who owe allegiance to BJP and Congress or other parties, right? Now the problem is that if, let's say, in my area, in my ward, in my gram panchayat, the sarpanch, the mukhya, the pradhan, the chairperson belongs to BJP, and he has become the pradhan, the sarpanch or the chairperson. When the elections come for MLA, MP, that person commands a lot of control over others in the village, can sway the votes in the direction of the ruling party or this party, that party. So every ruling party at the state level wants that people who are affiliated to that party should win all the seats in the panchayats. That may not always happen, because people at the lower level in the village, they will not vote because the G20 summit happened and we purchased the Jhumar from Czechoslovakia. No, no, no. They're not impressed by all this. The price of tomatoes is very high, very bad. Oh, very low, very good government. That's what impacts them. They get impacted by these kind of issues, these kind of concerns. And now what happens is that whenever the elections around the corner, the state government cannot always keep a check on prices. It's not possible, because we'll always have inflation, and there'll be stages, right, where you are bound to face some inflation. Now what happens is, elections are around the corner, but right now, because of delayed monsoon, because of other issues, etc., there's slight increase in prices of basic commodities. So if I go for elections right now, then maybe people will not vote for my candidates, right? So let's delay the election, postpone it. Persistent, continuous effort to postpone the elections. I mean, state governments give various kind of reasons. They say no money. Imagine the central government tells you that, guys, no money. We'll not have Lok Sabha elections this year. Lok Sabha elections next year. The state governments will go crazy. Oh, fascist government has come. Democracy is down the drain. Some leader, some very eligible bachelor will go to a foreign country and start taking part in seminars saying how India is bad, how there's no democracy. But is your party, which is in power in various states, fulfilling the constitutional mandate of panchayat elections properly? A lot of you belong to various states. In your states, have the panchayat elections always been held on time? No, because the political party there wants to have a favorable environment, a suitable environment. So, no funds. Then they may say there is a natural calamity. Excessive rains have happened. No rains. Imagine if there is no rain, the BJP today says, next year no election. Why? It did not rain for 5 days. Again, it is unthinkable, right? Then reservation data not updated. So this is a classic example in Karnataka. So back in 2012, a very interesting anecdote of how, to what limit can the state governments go. So in Karnataka, in 2012, 2013, there was this election commissioner, SEC, CR Chikkamath. He announced elections because it was 5 years' time. But state government told him, no elections. The mood is not right. But he said, no, time has come, 5 years. So state government told him, no, don't do it right now, delay it. But this fellow, trying to perform his duties properly, come on, you are trying to perform your duties properly. He performed his duties properly, announced the election. Now state government went to High Court against its own SEC. Look at this fellow doing his tasks properly. State government said that we are yet to update the SCST data. Right? What data? Every 5 years data has to be updated so that there can be exact representation. Data will not change much, maybe by 1% or 0.5%. It won't happen that 5 years ago SC population was 15%. This time it's 92%. It won't happen. It could be 16%. So the state high court said, please use the previous data, go for elections. It did not stop here. The Karnataka state government went to Supreme Court against its own SEC. And Supreme Court gave a tight slap, not literally, figuratively, by telling the state government that please go for elections. If not fresh data, use last data. No problem. Nothing happens in 5 years. These are situations. Anyway, so this is with respect to the postponement of elections. Then, organizational structure of panchayats is inadequate. Inadequate. We have the parliament. Do we have the parliament house? Now we have two, the old and new. We have the assembly. Don't we have the Vidhan Sabha in every state? Tell me a state which does not have Vidhan Sabha or Vidhan Parishad. We have MP's quarter, MLA quarter, this bungalow, that bungalow, hundreds of buildings. 21% panchayats in our country, they do not even have an official building to perform their tasks in. No panchayat bhavan in 21% panchayats. Where are the meetings being held? In some rich landlord's office, in house. All the records are kept there only, including that of audit. Right? Records can be manipulated, records can be stolen, everything can be done. And then if the meetings are being held in a landlord's house, don't you think he controls every meeting without being a member? Then what's the point of the democratic decentralization, arming the people with powers, giving up powers, right? And then in some cases, meetings are held in the local school, etc. You cannot even afford a building for panchayats. That is what state governments have come down to. You have all the money to give a juicer, mixer, grinder to people, distributing saris to people, etc. But you have no money to create a building for panchayat. How is it fair? How is it fair? Then, see, corruption in PRIs. Corruption. This is a very classic statement. Corruption is a problem which is there everywhere. So here also, how does corruption take place here? Very smooth transition of corruption. The state government, some minister there, he has to send money to panchayats. Minister, he will send money to panchayats. But when the minister sends money to panchayats, of course, because he's a minister there, some percentage has to be taken away. Yes or no? It goes to the district collector, DC, various DCs. DCs, people like you. Now, you will say, I spent so much money in coaching, in purchasing books, etc. Now my time has come. My percentage. My kid wants the latest iPhone 15 Pro Max. The price is increased. I have to get more money. Okay. You take some cut. It goes to the BDO. Now, please tell me something. Please. Don't BDOs have families? Don't their kids want iPhone? Of course. Some money taken away there also. Then it goes to the Gram Panchayat. And let me tell you, in the movies they always show, oh, villagers are so innocent people. Not that innocent also. Innocence has got nothing to do with rural and urban. Okay? Anybody can be innocent. The Gram Panchayat, so some of you who are from the rural areas, tell me now, these people who are members of Gram Panchayat and others, please tell me, what's the salary of a sarpanch? Any idea? What's the salary of a sarpanch? 50,000, 30,000, oh, 65,000. Are you saying per annum? Because that's correct. The salary of sarpanch, members of Gram Panchayat, etc., can range from 2,000 to 6,000. Now, some states like West Bengal are claiming that we are giving a salary of 12,000 also. I don't have a data on that. But largely, the salary is as low as 2000. But look at the money being invested by these members to win the election. Have you observed this? The money that these members are investing to win the election, 2000 rupees per month is a salary. 24,000 rupees is the salary for the entire year. In 5 years, they are making 1.2 lakh rupees. That's it. But in the elections of panchayats, now they are spending money in the upwards, north of 10-12 lakh rupees to win the election. Why? Why? Because when the fund comes to the Gram Panchayat, some percentage is kept by these people also. Of course. So your salary may be 3,000, 4,000, but eventually you don't. Who is joining for salary? The real thing is wait for the government to send funds and then siphon off the funds from there. Best policy. Invest 10 lakh rupees, recover 50 lakh rupees. Best investment. Better than cryptocurrency. It's guaranteed money. That is what is happening. Right? Now, one more thing I'd like to add here only. When it comes to the corruption, there is also the big problem that panchayats don't really show any kind of interest in imposing taxes on people. One more problem. Panchayats do not use their fiscal monetary power. They don't want to impose taxes. No. Why? One problem is the fear of backlash. Why? I was elected in a panchayat, for example, and I start imposing tax on the people there. People will say, "Bhai, we voted for him and he's imposing tax on us only. Very bad. Remove him. New person now." So that's a big fear of backlash. That next time I will never get elected. It's like, why don't your parents now scold you? The fear that you will become angry with them. But the right parents will thrash you properly because they don't care about your anger. They care about your future. The right friends are the ones who show the mirror to you, not the ones who keep on praising you, right? So that's the same point. Like I keep on scolding you, right? I don't really care what you perceive of me. My point here is to help you clear the examination, right? Same thing here. So the idea is that when you impose taxes on the people living there only, then people may not vote for you. Second point is the fear of accountability. Now think of this. See, accountability is a very dangerous thing. Whenever people pay money, they want their money to be fully utilized. So as long as things are free, no questions asked. The moment you pay a single penny, you want the return of lakhs of rupees for the penny, a single rupee you spend, right? So a random video on YouTube you search, whatever the quality of the video, you have no say, it's free of cost. You write comments, very nice video, waiting for the next video, dying for the next video. Whether the concept is right or wrong, you have no interest. But if you pay money, everything has to be perfect. The faculty is not smiling enough. The faculty has scolded me right now. Right? It's very natural because we want to hold people accountable when you spend money. So that's why the taxpayers are always angry. I am paying this much tax, nothing being done in the country. It's very natural. So the real concern here is, now you have paid some money. Early morning, the panchayat member or the sarpanch is going for his morning walk, and somebody comes and tells him, wait, sir, where are you going? Last month I paid 12 rupees as tax. Why is the road not built? Accountability. So to escape this entire accountability problem only, they don't impose taxes. They say, why to impose tax? Let the money come from the center, from the state. The money will come. We'll spend it. If it does not come, people are living as it is. No problem. This is what is happening, right? So these are some of the problems. We'll continue our problems tomorrow as well on the panchayats, and then we'll discuss about the challenges pertaining to women. We'll also discuss what steps have been taken so far. We'll discuss second ARC recommendations, the Panchi Commission recommendations, and once we are done, we'll move on to the municipalities. Okay, so that is all as far as our discussion for today is concerned. Jai Hind. And guys, I am requesting you, when I ask these basic questions also, it is not being answered properly. It is disappointing. I won't say shameful, you are too mature. It is disappointing. Please revise. Okay? Rather than attending multiple classes, because whatever I say, I'll be the bad person in front of you, but this is the reality. Please, better to revise the same topic and write more answers. This is a strategy which works. After 3 years, you will find out that, oh, that was the right strategy. Why not do it right now? Oh, we have only one topper for today, Sivaranjani. Or beyond corruption, you have to grease their palms and everything is okay, right? Just a small point here. Okay, let me give the task here for you. The PPTs, extremely important, revise. The PYQs, keep on solving if you have not solved so far. Read the editorials. Yojana, Kurukshetra, Gist. And for people 2024, read the monthly magazine. It is very, very important. And of course, political theory revision, because once our class is over, you will never revise it. So this should continue. Please, everybody, draw this diagram at least 2-3 times before tomorrow. Okay, this will help you remember everything. What is a intermediate panchayat called? It is called intermediate panchayat only, or can be called a block panchayat, can be called a mandal parishad, can be called a panchayat samiti, all these. Intermediate level. So yeah, we'll discuss that tomorrow. Why panicking so much? Good marks, I ask, answer is again and again. Guys, good marks in any question is anything above 50%. It's very good marks, right? Simply. Now you can calculate. If it's a 10 marker question, 5, anything above 5 is very good marks. It's a 15 marker question, anything above 7.5 is pretty good marks. Okay? Dvapayan, central government, why will it take any kind of step? Because central government is also a party only after all. It also has some state governments under its control. There is no time frame. Elections can be postponed forever and ever until somebody files a case in court. Then the court orders, and then you have to. Maybe this is a question to be answered in your ethics classes and governance classes. How to eradicate. Eradicating corruption is not possible. There is corruption everywhere. Are we clear? if anybody has this kind of belief that there is some country where there is no corruption, the best example of this is look at the corruption perception index, CPI. Even the best of countries, say Denmark, first rank, their score is also 90 only, not 100, right? So nobody scores 100. Countries like Finland, New Zealand, 87, Norway, then Singapore, Sweden, nobody is scoring 100. There is corruption everywhere. Okay. That's all for today, guys. Your experts can keep on addressing your concerns in the meantime. So let's meet tomorrow. Till then, that is all for me. Jai Hind.